Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at Emperor Jircniv's wives, because he has so many of them, and what purpose they serve, and why he takes a more laissez-faire approach to his succession and to his family tree will be today's topic. But before we are going to take a look at the Emperor's bedding chamber, let's take a look at my Patreons and thank them for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. And with that said, let's dive right into the topic, and to understand what Jircniv is doing and why he is doing it, and so many women, we have to take a look at how a normal succession usually plays out, and why Jircniv wants his succession to be different. And first and foremost, we have to remark that succession is oftentimes a bloody affair. In the kingdom of Jircniv, for example, the Crown Prince Barbro was too incompetent to receive the throne. But at the same time his father, King Ramposa, didn't want to break his heart by declaring his younger half-brother Zanik as the heir to the throne, which led to the royal court splitting into two rivaling factions, teetering on the edge of civil war. And Emperor Jircniv's own ascension to the throne of Baharut were also complicated, to say the absolute least. Being a member of one of 5 powerful families, Jircniv had not only to purge the other 80% of external rivals, but also nearly anyone that once had been close and dear to him, all while still being a teenager. Which also goes to show that Jircniv, for the sake of power and for the sake of his empire, was willing and able to commit countless atrocities, even against his relatives, in order to secure power and the throne for himself. But even after all of this has happened, Jircniv has only won a temporary victory. Even if he is a brilliant emperor, and even though all of his predecessors heeded the advice, the aid, and respected the arcane might of Luda Peridane, the Triad Wizard was growing old, his immortality slowly failing him, so he wouldn't survive the still young Jircniv, and therefore couldn't tutor his offspring, in order to secure that the line of emperors remains competent, or at least not a complete catastrophe. And faced with the threat of accidentally siring a second Philippe, or someone like Remedios, who might turn out to be stronger than Gojin, but also equipped with the political cunning of the average houseplant. And in order to avoid sub-brick levels of intelligence in his successor, he came literally up with a plan to weed out his bad seeds by getting himself a big harem. He should and probably has dozens, if not hundreds of women under him. But none of them has the status of empress, and judging from Jircniv's pragmatism, a noble background is to the by now absolute monarch a tertiary quality at best, which would normally lead to many problems, because if there's no legitimate heir, then the dozens upon dozens of illegitimate ones would fight another in a bloody civil war in order to get the throne. It would basically be like the Blackfire Rebellion from A Song of Ice and Fire, with even more magical elements. But while the Kingdom of Jircniv had the luxury to afford infighting within their own royal family, since it had been well protected by its geography, the empire would likely suffer severely from outside threats, or would be consumed by the many hostile civilizations of the New World. And Jircniv even recognized the fact that if he dies, all he did would have been in vain. But he needed to keep all of his heirs illegitimate, until one of them proves to be as smart and as capable a ruler as him. Then Jircniv, who by now held absolute and undisputed power, would legitimize this, and only this child of his, while the others, and we're talking about dozens, if not hundreds, wouldn't be seen as legitimate heirs. That way Jircniv gets to choose the best out of 100 potential successors. Basically that one teenager's approach to his Ratata. And Jircniv didn't just select his harem for looks and childbearing hips either, but he regularly discussed political and state affairs with one of his more modest-looking concubines, who is sharp-witted and able to keep up with him mentally. Hence why Jircniv is hoping that she will give him kids as smart and as able as she is herself. And of course, he acknowledges that a certain ruthlessness is also a quality that has to be present in them. And while it is just more than a bit cruel to let hundreds or so kids compete with one another for love and affection and acknowledgement of their father, and while this could lead to resentment and even some of them turning rogue, it might be the best way to ensure that the line of emperors stays competent, because one idiot king could destroy an entire nation. Last but not least, keep in mind that Jircniv has been watched by Eins via the mirror of remote viewing. And with this picture anchoring itself into the depths of your mind, I've landed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yi, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia II, Phil Ralshivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Haster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Okill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.